This is not audible. Pratt Audio presents Parker Reads a Thing. U.S. Air Power by Bill Yene. Read to you by Parker Snyder. The General Dynamics F-111 and FB-111 Aardvark. There have been a lot of airplanes called ugly ducklings, but there has been only one Aardvark. It was the plane that nobody wanted, the plane that cost too much, and the plane that didn't work. It was the plane that was the brainchild of a man who disliked aircraft and one of the unfortunates to earn the epithet Widowmaker. It was born as a fighter, yet lived its whole life as a bomber. It was the Aardvark. To the North Vietnamese in 1972, however, it became whispering death, and to Muammar Gaddafi in 1986, it was a terrible nightmare. Its story began in the mid-1960s when the Defense Department under Secretary Robert McNamara conceived the idea for a tactical fighter bomber that could be used by both the Air Force and the Navy. Proposals for an experimental prototype of such an airplane designated the TFX, for Tactical Fighter Experimental, were submitted by Boeing and General Dynamics. General Dynamics was awarded the contract to build the aircraft. Its prototype flew in December of 1964, and plans were laid to begin producing an F-111A for the Air Force and an F-111B for the Navy. However, McNamara's dream of versatility was elusive. The more the project evolved, the more disparate the requirements of the two services became. The more the design was changed to please one service, the less it matched the needs of the other. In 1968, the Navy dropped out of the project and the Air Force went ahead alone with 141 F-111As, while Australia ordered 24 F-111Cs. These were followed over the years by 296 F-111D, E, and F aircraft, with improved systems that came off the assembly line through 1976 and that were delivered into fighter-bomber service with the United States Air Force's Tactical Air Command. The U.S. Air Force Strategic Air Command, meanwhile, acquired 76 of them to use as medium bombers under the designation FB-111. It was indeed a strange evolution for the plane once known as the TFX. When the F-111 first went into combat in Vietnam in 1967, the results were disastrous. There were structural defects traceable to years of fiddling with the design, and there were also serious problems with the then experimental terrain-following radar that was supposed to permit extremely low-level bombing missions deep in North Vietnam. The F-111 was ultimately withdrawn, but when it was reintroduced in 1972, its story had changed completely. Instead of uncertain death for American crew members, it was the whispering death for the enemy. The F-111s came in so fast and so low that the first sound enemy troops heard was that of exploding munitions. Having proved itself in the last full year of American involvement in Southeast Asia, the F-111 went on to become the airplane of choice for tactical air command units specified to perform long-range, deep interdiction attacks against targets within enemy territory. Gradually, the ugly airplane with the turned-up nose won the hearts of its air crews and won it the nickname Aardvark. A decade came and went, and the Varks remained on duty preparing for potential bombing missions should the need arise. With air bases of the Warsaw Pact forces seen as a likely target in the event of a major European conflict, a wing of F-111s was stationed in England just to be at the ready, and it was there they waited. By the spring of 1986, the prospective threat to the security of Americans in the world had shifted from the potential of a war with the Soviet Union to the bloody reality of vicious terrorism. The job of striking the terrorist nerve center in Muammar Gaddafi's capital at Tripoli fell to the U.S. Air Force F-111s based in Britain. 18 Varks made the 5,750-mile bomb run on April 15, 1986, with the support of U.S. Air Force aerial refueling operations, succeeded in dropping more than 70 tons of unguided and laser-guided munitions on Gaddafi's terrorist enclave. With a Mach 2 speed, the Aardvark was faster than other American bombers, a characteristic that, when combined with a range that exceeds that of American fighters at the time, makes it a unique and valuable airplane. Its bomber-like cockpit featured side-by-side seating for the pilot and weapon systems operator. This is a characteristic that would have been cumbersome in a fighter, where a clear unobstructed view for the pilot is essential, but a necessity in a bomber, where the need for two crew members to work together is absolutely critical. With an unswept wingspan of 63 feet and a swept wingspan of 32 feet, powered by two JF30 P100 Pratt & Whitney turbofan engines that produce 25,100 pounds of thrust, the F-111 can be configured to carry 12 tons of bombs and missiles of various types and in various combinations. The FB-111, meanwhile, is rather like a miniature B-52, with a 16-ton nuclear or conventional bomb load. The FB-111 can trade 5 of those tons for 4 AGM-69 short-range attack missiles. These weapons are carried on a swiveling pylon that is located beneath the variable geometry wings, the sweep of which, like the wings of the F-14 and B-1B, is designed so that it can be changed in flight from nearly straight for a slow-level cruise to a virtual delta configuration for a high-speed Mach 2 dash. The General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark.